I am King Xerxes, with vast wealth, unmatched armies, and the most beautiful woman in the kingdom, Queen Vashti. Bring her to me, so my subjects may behold her glory.
He ruled over 127 provinces, from India even unto Ethiopia. But his throne was not as secure as he believed.
We want the queen. Show us the queen. Vashti, Vashti, let us see her beauty. Long live King Xerxes.
My queen, His Majesty commands your presence before the nobles to display your beauty.
The king is drunk. I will not parade myself like a trophy. Tell him I refuse.
And with that, the queen defied the most powerful man on earth, and the seeds of a greater story were sown. When the servant returned alone, the king's smile vanished. Queen Vashti had refused him before the nobles of the realm. The banquet hall grew cold. Whispers turned to silence.
What? The queen refuses the king. Summon the wise men. Bring the princes of Media and Persia, now!
Did she really say no? No one refuses the king. What happens now?
The king gathered his royal advisors, wise men who understood the times. The 7 princes of Persia and Media stood before him, uncertain of what would follow.
By law, what must be done to Queen Vashti? She has disobeyed the command of the king, sent by his trusted eunuchs.
Your Majesty, Vashti has wronged not only the king, but every noble and citizen of your empire. When word spreads that the queen refused the king, every wife will look with contempt on her husband. There will be no end to the disrespect and discord this will bring. If it pleases the king, issue a royal decree. Let it be written in the laws of Persia and Media, so it cannot be repealed, that Vashti shall never again enter the presence of King Xerxes, and let the king give her royal position to someone better than she.
The king and his nobles were pleased with this advice, and the decree was issued.
Let it be written, let it be sealed. The crown of Vashti shall be given to another.
So letters were sent to every province in every language, declaring that every man should be ruler over his household. And the throne stood empty beside the king, waiting for a new queen, a crown prepared for someone chosen by destiny. After these things, when King Xerxes' anger had subsided, he remembered Vashti and what was decreed against her.
Let beautiful young virgins be sought for the king. Bring them to the palace into the care of Haggai, the king's eunuch. Let the one who pleases the king become queen in place of Vashti.
The proposal pleased the king, and the search began. Now in the citadel of Susa, there lived a Jew named Mordecai, of the tribe of Benjamin, descended from Kish, carried into exile by Nebuchadnezzar. He was guardian to a young woman, Hadassah, that is Esther. Her parents had died, and Mordecai had raised her as his own daughter. She was lovely in form and beautiful in face. When the king's command was heard, Esther was taken into the royal harem, placed under the care of Haggai.
This one pleases me greatly. Give her special food, 7 servants, the best quarters in the harem.
But Esther revealed nothing about her people or family, because Mordecai had told her not to.
Say nothing, Hadassah. There is a time and a purpose for everything.
Each day, Mordecai walked near the courtyard to hear of her well-being. After 12 months of preparation, 6 with oil of myrrh, 6 with perfumes, the time came for Esther to go to the king.
I will ask for nothing more than what Haggai advises.
You already shine, my lady. Go as you are.
And Esther won favor in the eyes of all who saw her. The king loved Esther more than any other woman.
Crown her. Let a royal banquet be held in honor of Queen Esther.
Meanwhile, Mordecai sat at the king's gate. There, he overheard 2 of the king's officers, Bigthana and Teresh, plotting to assassinate Xerxes.
We strike when the guards change. The king will never see it coming.
This must be reported immediately.
Mordecai told Queen Esther, and Esther gave the report to the king in Mordecai's name. The matter was investigated and found to be true. The conspirators were impaled on poles, and the record was written in the book of the Chronicles in the king's presence. After these events, King Xerxes honored Haman, son of Hammedatha the Agagite. He promoted him above all the other nobles, giving him a seat of honor higher than them all.
Let every knee bow when I pass, let every head lower.
All the royal officials at the gate knelt before Haman, for this was the king's command.
Everyone bows. Why won't Mordecai?
I am a Jew. I will not bow to a man. I bow only to the Lord.
Day after day they challenged Mordecai, but he would not yield. The officials told Haman about Mordecai's defiance, hoping to see if it would be tolerated.
Who is this man? Who dares dishonor me? A Jew? Then let all of them suffer.
Haman burned with fury, and he plotted not just against Mordecai, but to destroy all the Jews in the kingdom of Xerxes. In the 12th year of Xerxes, in the first month, the month of Nisan, Haman cast the lot, to determine the day of destruction.
Let it fall where it may, one day, and they will all be gone. There is a certain people, scattered among your provinces, who keep to their own laws. They do not obey the king's commands. It is not in your interest to tolerate them. If it pleases the king, let a decree be issued to destroy them, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver into your treasury.
Keep your money, and do as you please with the people.
The king took his signet ring and handed it to Haman, sealing the fate of a nation. On the 13th day of the first month, the decree was written, sealed with the king's ring, and sent to every province to destroy, kill, and annihilate all the Jews, young and old, women and children, on a single day, the 13th day of the 12th month, the month of Adar.
By royal decree, all Jews are to be destroyed on the 13th day of Adar.
And while the king and Haman sat down to drink, the city of Susa was bewildered. When Mordecai learned of all that had been done, he tore his clothes, put on sackcloth and ashes, and went out into the city, wailing loudly and bitterly.
O God of our fathers, have mercy on your people.
When Esther's attendants told her about Mordecai's distress, the queen was deeply troubled.
Send him clothing. He cannot remain in sackcloth outside the gate.
But Mordecai refused to put them on. Then Esther summoned Hathach, her trusted messenger, to learn what was troubling Mordecai.
My lady, Mordecai has given me this decree. It bears the king's seal. It orders the destruction of all your people.
Go to the king, beg for mercy, plead with him for your people.
Everyone knows that if anyone approaches the king without being summoned, they are put to death, unless he extends the gold scepter. And I have not been called for 30 days.
Do not think that because you are in the king's palace, you alone will escape. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place, but you and your father's house will perish. And who knows whether you have come to your royal position for such a time as this.
Go, gather all the Jews in Susa, fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. I and my attendants will fast as you do, and then I will go to the king, even though it is against the law. And if I perish, I perish.
And so Esther, cloaked in courage, prepared to risk everything, to stand before a king for the lives of her people. On the third day, Esther put on her royal robes and stood in the inner court of the palace in front of the king's hall. When he saw her standing there, she won favor in his eyes.
Come, Queen Esther, what is it you desire? Even up to half the kingdom, it shall be yours.
If it pleases the king, let the king and Haman come today, to a banquet I have prepared for him.
Now tell me, Queen Esther, what is your request? It will be given you even up to half the kingdom.
If I have found favor in your eyes, let the king and Haman come again tomorrow. To another banquet I will prepare. Then I will answer the king's question.
And the trap began to close. Haman went out that day, joyful and proud. But when he saw Mordecai at the gate, who neither rose nor showed fear in his presence, Haman was filled with rage.
I am honored above all the officials. I dine with the king and queen themselves, but none of it means anything, as long as that Jew Mordecai sits at the gate.
Have a gallows built, 75 feet high, and in the morning, ask the king to have Mordecai impaled upon it. Then go joyfully with the king to the banquet.
The idea pleased Haman, and he ordered the gallows to be built. And so the night fell on Susa. A queen prepared to speak. A man plotted murder. And the unseen hand of God was still at work that night. The king could not sleep, so he ordered the book of the Chronicles, the record of his reign, to be read to him.
And it was recorded how Mordecai had exposed Bigthana and Teresh, two of the king's officers, who had conspired to assassinate him.
What honor or recognition was given to Mordecai for this?
Nothing, my lord.
Haman, what should be done for the man the king delights to honor?
For the man the king delights to honor, let a royal robe be brought, one the king has worn, and a horse the king has ridden, with a royal crest placed on its head. Have one of the king's most noble princes robe the man and lead him through the city streets, shouting, "This is what is done for the man the king delights to honor."
Excellent. Go at once, get the robe and the horse, just as you have said, and do so for Mordecai the Jew, who sits at the king's gate. Do not neglect a single detail.
So Haman, who had come to kill Mordecai, now clothed him in royal robes, placed him on the king's horse, and paraded him through the city.
This is what is done for the man the king delights to honor.
If Mordecai, before whom your downfall has begun, is of Jewish origin, you cannot stand against him. You will surely fall.
While they were still talking, the king's eunuchs arrived and hurried Haman away to the banquet Esther had prepared. And so the proud fell low, and the humble was lifted up. But the greater unveiling was yet to come.
Queen Esther, what is your petition? It shall be granted to you. Even up to half the kingdom, it will be yours.
If I have found favor with you, your majesty, and if it pleases you, grant me my life. This is my petition, and spare my people. This is my request, for we have been sold, I and my people, to be destroyed, killed, and annihilated.
Who is he? Where is the man who has dared to do such a thing?
The adversary and enemy is this vile Haman.
Just as the king returned from the garden to the banquet hall, Haman was fallen on the couch where Esther was reclining.
Will he even assault the queen while she is with me in the house?
A gallows 75 feet high stands by Haman's house. He had it built for Mordecai, who spoke up to save the king.
So they impaled Haman on the gallows he had prepared for Mordecai. And the king's fury subsided.
Take my signet ring, the one I had taken from Haman, place it on Mordecai's hand.
If it pleases the king, and if I have found favor in his sight, let an order be written to cancel the letters that Haman sent to destroy the Jews. How can I bear to see disaster fall on my people? How can I watch the destruction of my family?
Now, write another decree in the king's name, as you see fit, and seal it with my ring. For no document written in the king's name and sealed with his ring can be revoked.
The king grants the Jews in every city the right to assemble and protect themselves, to destroy, kill, and annihilate any armed force that might attack them. On the 13th day of the 12th month, the month of Adar,
the city of Susa held a joyous celebration for the Jews. It was a time of happiness and joy, gladness and honor. On the 13th day of the 12th month, the month of Adar, the enemies of the Jews had hoped to overpower them. But now the tables were turned, and the Jews got the upper hand over those who hated them. In every province, the Jews assembled to protect themselves. No one could stand against them, because the fear of them had spread. The Jews struck down all their enemies with the sword, killing and destroying them, and doing what they pleased to those who hated them. They also killed the 10 sons of Haman, son of Hammedatha, the enemy of the Jews. But they did not lay hands on the plunder.
In Susa alone, 500 have fallen, and Haman's sons. What is your petition now, Queen Esther?
Let the Jews in Susa carry out this day's edict again tomorrow, and let Haman's sons be impaled on poles.
On the 15th day, the Jews rested and made it a day of feasting and joy. Mordecai recorded these events and sent letters to all the Jews to establish the 14th and 15th of Adar as annual days of celebration.
These days are to be remembered and observed in every generation, every family, every province and city, to commemorate the time when sorrow was turned into joy and mourning into celebration.
They called it Purim, from the word pur. Pur. The lot that Haman cast against them. And it became law for the Jews never to forget what God had done. Mordecai the Jew was second in rank to King Xerxes, preeminent among the Jews, held in high esteem by his many fellow Jews, because he worked for the good of his people and spoke up for the welfare of all the Jews.
I once sat at the gate, unnoticed. Now I stand before kings, because I stood for what was right.
This is not just the story of a queen, or a court, or a king. This is the story of the unseen hand of God, moving through ordinary people for extraordinary purpose. A forgotten orphan became a queen. A forgotten deed saved a nation. A wicked plan was reversed by courage and prayer. No miracle, no parting seas, no fire from heaven. Yet God was there, in every decision, every decree, every delay, for such a time as this. Esther 4:14.